Once upon a time, in a kingdom far away, there lived a beautiful princess named Snowwhite. Her skin was as white as snow, her lips as red as blood, and her hair as black as ebony. Snowwhite lived with her wicked stepmother, the queen, who was envious of Snowwhite's beauty. Each day, the queen would ask her magic mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" And the mirror would always reply, "You, my queen, are fair. It's true, but Snowwhite is even fairer than you." Consumed by jealousy, the queen ordered Snowwhite to be taken into the forest and left there to perish. But Snowwhite, brave and kind-hearted, found her way to a quaint little cottage hidden deep in the woods. Exhausted, she fell asleep on one of the 7 tiny beds inside. That night, the cottage's owners returned, 7 dwarves who worked in the mines. When they found Snowwhite, they were astonished by her beauty and decided to protect her. Snowwhite awoke to their friendly faces and agreed to stay with them, helping with the household chores in exchange for her protection. Meanwhile, the queen discovered that Snowwhite was still alive. She disguised herself as an old peddler and visited the cottage, offering Snowwhite a poisoned comb. Snowwhite, too trusting, fainted after using it. The dwarfs found her, and realizing the danger, removed the comb from her hair, and she revived. Undeterred, the queen tried again. This time, she disguised herself as a beggar woman and offered a poisoned apple. Snowwhite, unsuspecting, took a bite and fell into a deep, death-like sleep. The dwarfs, heartbroken, placed Snowwhite in a glass coffin, mourning their friend. One day, a prince from a neighboring kingdom came across the cottage and saw Snowwhite in the coffin. Enchanted by her beauty, he kissed her gently. The spell was broken, and Snowwhite awoke. Overjoyed, she and the prince fell in love. The prince invited Snowwhite and the 7 dwarfs to the palace. They celebrated a grand wedding, and the dwarfs were honored guests. The wicked queen, upon learning that Snowwhite was alive and happily married, met her own demise. Snowwhite and the prince lived happily ever after, and the 7 dwarfs returned to their cottage, content knowing their friend was safe and happy. And so, in a kingdom filled with love and joy, Snowwhite and the prince reigned with kindness, forever cherishing their magical journey together.